and everyone who is aspiring to go into the information technology career path. Because at the end of the day, from my observation, information technology, with the way the world is going, isn't really about getting a job and working for someone. Now you have the option to get like a diploma, a degree in data science or data analytics, and you can also work from home. So this is a big trend that we are experiencing in the information age from 2021 and going on. Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Darlington from Darlington Academy. In this video, I actually thought about bringing a friend and an IT specialist by name Henry Nwachukwu. I've been fascinated about the IT world and what is really going on in the IT field, especially when it comes to the issues with data. Like right now, everyone keeps throwing that word around: data science, data analytics, and machine learning, and deep learning, and Python. It's like too much information out there. But every time I try to look into, as in the IT world, everything keeps going towards the area of data being super, super important in our lives right now, especially in the information age, because it feels more like every industry at some point it's going to need, as in data scientists and data analysts and everything. But this is specifically for people who are aspiring to come to Canada, especially as in the viewers of my YouTube channel. And I felt like, since I've been providing information relating to coming to Canada to study and work, it's going to be a good idea to bring on someone who knows a little bit about IT, information technology, to kind of, as in, give us a breakdown of what data, as in data science, or what data is. So today I have with me, like I said earlier on, Mr. Henry Nwachukwu. I will let him introduce himself, and then we'll take it up from there. So Mr. Henry Nwachukwu, can you please introduce who you are to the viewers?
Yeah, Darlington Academy, thank you so much for getting me on your show today. By profession, I'm a petroleum engineer with wealth of experience as in reservoir engineering. But my passion has always been in data manipulation and insights you can derive from data. So my specialty for a couple of years has been in the area of machine learning and deep learning application in regards to making forecasts and then seeing how we can make good use of information we are getting off data to make our activities or whatever we are doing to be of high essence to us.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much for that introduction. I'm just going to use this so I can make, as in, whatever I hear super, super sound. So if you don't mind, like I said, for me, you can hear me perfectly, right?
Oh, yeah, I can.
Okay. So for me, the essence of me bringing you onto this platform is I am a strong believer of breaking things down in a simple way so that the average person out there would really understand what we are talking about. So let's start with the word data. What exactly is data? So let's say you're trying to explain data to someone who doesn't know anything about information technology. What is data?
Data is just information.
Okay.
I am not going in the aspect of sources of data. I am more concerned with what you are doing with the data. When you have acquired the data, there are two basic things we do. It's either we are analyzing a data just to have an idea and take informed decision at the moment, or we are analyzing a data so that we can use the data we have to make a prediction of what the next day is going to be. Somebody can have a weather information data now. He is making a forecast to know what is going to happen in the next day so that he can be able to be well guided to know how he's going to move.
Okay.
When using the data you've acquired to make a forecast for the future, it is called data analytics. But if I am just analyzing that data to see, wow, so when the weather is humid, this is what is going to happen. Just to have an idea that has nothing to do with a forecast in the future,
Yeah.
it is called analysis. I am
Okay.
analyzing the data, I am doing analytics.
Okay.
That is the major difference.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much for that simple breakdown, because I believe whoever is watching this video, it's gonna be a little bit relieved, just like I am, because like I said earlier on at the beginning of this video, there is so much going on in the IT world with data and data analysis and analytics and things like that. So right now, I do understand what data is and what you mean by data analysis and data analytics. Now, let's get into some of those words that are so confusing. What exactly is machine learning? Everywhere you go, you hear machine learning, deep learning. What is machine learning when it relate? How does machine learning relate to data? If you don't mind me asking.
Okay, I will also use an example to make the meaning come into reality. But at this stage, we have been able to differentiate between analysis and analytics.
Exactly. Right.
Analysis, like we did mention, has to do with being able to forecast, being able to make a prediction of what tomorrow, the next day, is going to be based on the data we have today.
Mm-hmm.
And for us to be able to make such prediction and take a good decision about it, we need a system that can be able to give us an accurate prediction. But before we can be able to do this, like I said, we need a system that has a high accuracy. The advantage of machine learning and deep learning comes into play while Excel might not be of much demand because Excel have got a limitation. At this stage, we are talking about big data. There is a certain amount of data you will have that cannot be able to come into Excel. And we need as much as historic data before we can be able to make a forecast that we can hold with our hand with high confidence. This is what is going to happen.
Okay.
So the limitations we were having with Excel, where for example, you have a data from 1974 to 2021. That kind of information is too big that it might not come into Excel. And you need all those historic informations so that you can be able to build a system that can tell you what the tomorrow holds.
Okay.
Excel limitation comes in. Now, the modern technology of today began to ask themselves, how can we be able to do this? And that is the evolution of machine learning and deep learning that has a lot of flexibility on platform you can use and get this stuff done. Mind you, the idea is not just about being able to make a forecast. The idea is being able to mimic what we call the history.
Okay.
These data we have are our history. So the historical information is important. That's why we need historical data. The more information we have about our historical data, the more we can be able to use this model and see if this model or machine learning or deep learning can be able to tell us what our data was in the past. Once it can be able to tell us what our data was in the past, we can now have confidence in using this model, machine learning or whatever, to forecast our future or to predict our future. So machine learning and deep learning are new concepts that we have introduced into data analytics. At this stage, I'm not just saying information technology. They are concepts we have employed into data analytics because I told you analytics has to do with making a forecast. So for us to make a forecast, we need to be able to reproduce the feature. So machine learning and deep learning are two key major ways because we are also concerned about accuracy. There is no need making a prediction and the prediction you are making in the future is not in any way obtainable. So we need to be well guided, and this tool has given us high confidence, and that is why people are using them of high demand. None of them is better than each other. The confusion we have, many people overemphasize that deep learning has the tendency of making prediction or forecast far, far better than machine learning. That is not the case. It is the data that tells you what you are going to use. When we talk of machine learning, now that we have built a good understanding what machine learning is, like I said, it's just a platform where we can be able to study our historical data and then we can now use them to forecast what the data is going to be in the future. Now, when you get your data, you need to understand your data. When you have your data, you should be able to know the kind of machine learning study you're going to do. Basically, we are always talking about three types of machine learning, but for the sake of this interactive session, I might be focusing on just two main types of machine learning, the supervised and the unsupervised machine learning. This aspect of the introductory part of machine learning is what so many incoming data scientists or machine learning analysts don't pay so much attention to, and that is where the issue comes. Many people don't try to understand that this is a concept where the data speaks for itself. The data is what is going to tell you what you're going to do. There is no way you can just get a data and decide I'm going to use supervised or unsupervised, meaning there is a need for you to understand when the data requires you to do supervised machine learning and when the data does not require you to do a supervised machine learning. So when you get your data, you explore your data, you understand if I'm going to do supervised machine learning or if I'm going to do unsupervised machine learning. And then there are further different types of either supervised machine learning or unsupervised machine learning, again, based on the data. The data is going to tell you if I'm going to be doing a regressional study or if I'm going to be doing classificational study.
Okay, bro, can we just hold on a little for a second? Because for me, the importance of this video is to let the average Joe out there to understand what data is. So let's kind of as in summarize a little bit before we go into regression now and whatever you just said. So data is information, right? And then we have analysis and analytics. So machine learning and deep learning is just terms to harness the historical data, right? And then under machine learning, we have supervised and unsupervised data. Am I right?
Under machine learning, we have three types.
Okay.
We have supervised,
yeah,
we have unsupervised, and we have reinforcement. What I said for this interactive section, I would want to focus more on the supervised and the unsupervised machine learning.
Okay, now we can go on from there. Okay, I just wanted to draw our viewers back, so that I don't want them to be lost with the information we're trying to present to them so they understand where we are at this point in time. Okay, go ahead.
What I want to do here, like I did mention, because the concern I have, or most interactive session I have students and new aspiring IT students ask me is, when should I use deep learning and when do I have to use machine learning? That is the message I want everybody to understand today. That when I have the data is going to tell me if sorry, if I'm gonna do supervised or unsupervised machine learning.
Okay.
Once that is defined, for unsupervised, you could have, there are models that I can use for unsupervised machine learning, the likes of dimensionality reduction and the likes of cluster analysis. But when I have supervised machine learning, the next question I'm going to ask myself, which model am I going to use to study the historical behavior of this data? And that is where you need to understand if I have a regressional study or if I have a classificational study. These are the two types of study we do when we have a supervised machine learning.
So what exactly is a regressional study? And
Good.
yeah.
Like, you need to understand what is supervised and unsupervised machine learning. In our elementary secondary school, there is something we are taught about dependable and independable parameter, right?
Mm-hmm.
Dependable parameter are those parameters that depend on the independable parameter for what they are going to be. On their own, they can't decide what they're going to be. For example, if you go to Hotel A, the Hotel A is going to tell you how much the room is going to cost. The amenities they offer you are the factors that will decide the price. So you're going to find out that the price of the hotel is a function of the amenities there. So all those individual parameters, maybe the size of the bed, the kind of cushion they have, do they have a poolside? The price of these hotels are not going to be the same. The price is dependent on all these other parameters.
Okay.
If you want to go to airport, you might use a taxi, you might use an Uber, you might use this. The kind of service you get depends on how much you're going to pay.
So just to coming into what you're saying, is it the same thing with, let's say you're trying to fly an airplane and then you have the economic and then you have the private area, whatever they call it. So that means economy is you pay a certain price, but if you want like a private, then you have so many other things. So is that like an example of that as well?
You got it right.
Okay, okay.
You're going to find out in this scenario that the price is the dependable parameter that depends on other stuff.
Okay, okay.
But this other stuff don't depend on the price. So when you have a study where you have been given a data, you find out that, for example, in the medical sector, cancer is dependent on some other kind of stuff that causes cancer, right?
Okay, okay.
That cancer itself that depends on, maybe, I don't know your medical terms, those other parameters that causes cancer are the independable parameter, while cancer itself is the dependable parameter.
Okay.
So when you get a data, domain knowledge is one key important aspect of machine learning. When you get a data, you need to understand the kind of study you want to do, because sometimes people get so confused about this. I have seen a couple of situations. I asked somebody, you now have your first data. What kind of study are you doing? The person does not even know. So the first thing you should be able to do as an upcoming machine learning analyst, you should be able to know when you have a supervised and unsupervised machine learning. So from what I have said so far, for a supervised machine learning, you have dependable and independable parameters. So when you have a data, you need to go through all your data sets, go through each column one after the other, and see if there is a parameter that depends on other parameters for it to be whatever it's going to be. Once you can be able to establish there is price, and all these other parameters depends, is what decide what the price is going to be. That is a supervised machine learning. But when you are given a data, none of this exists. There is no independable parameter. There is no dependable parameter. You are talking about unsupervised machine learning. Like, for example, I might have a data set of continents in countries or people in Canada. You're going to find that I have different people. You have people from Africa, you have people from Europe. Everybody is on their own. When you have that kind of data, they are not deciding any stuff. What you can do in that kind of data is to say, okay, all these people from Africa go one side. All the people from Europe go one side. You are just trying to classify those data, separate them.
Okay.
Because you are not deciding what no parameter is dependent on each other.
Okay.
When you have such a data set, it is called unsupervised machine learning.
Okay. Okay.
And the kind of study you can do on that kind of data set is either cluster analysis, or you can do a dimensionality reduction.
Okay. I want us to like, because the everything about data is so vast. So just to like recap what we said, right? We have data, we have data analysis, we have data analytics, and then we have words like data machine learning and deep learning. And under machine learning, you have supervised and unsupervised. And then you explain what supervised is and then what unsupervised is. I would want our audience to digest what we've talked about, and I'm going to have you for the part B. Let's just say this is part A, and part B is going to be deep learning, because we've talked about, or we can go deeper into machine learning and then jump into deep as in learning.